Activating meridians. Alignment. Instability in field. Negative. Charge. Aligning matrix field. Positive. Coordinates reached, Commander.
Activate the Sade field.
Activations of multidimensional engines.
Launch communications probe.
Power levels to maximum.
Activate all dimensional levels of communication.
Communication established.
The voice you hear is known as Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. This is the last slave planet in the galaxy. Under all agreements, under all rights, under galactic law, we now proclaim this planet free. The descension of the true human consciousness has begun.
Energizing Shambhala diamonds.
The men, women, and children of this planet are now set free.
Grid field activated.
You have already reached
Activate Shambhala diamond.
critical mass.
Integration onto microcosm. Expanding linear space.
Prepare for landing.
Free space activation. Landing. Activating meridians. Alignment. Instability in field. Negative. Charge. Aligning matrix field. Positive. Coordinates reached, Commander.
Activate the Sade field.
Activations of multidimensional engines.
Launch communications probe.
Power levels to maximum.
Activate all dimensional levels of communication.
Communication established.
The voice you hear is known as Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. This is the last slave planet in the galaxy. Under all agreements, under all rights, under galactic law, we now proclaim this planet free. The descension of the true human consciousness has begun.
Energizing Shambhala diamonds.
The men, women, and children of this planet are now set free.
Grid field activated.
You have already reached
Activate Shambhala diamond.
critical mass.
Integration onto microcosm. Expanding linear space.
Prepare for landing.
Free space activation. Landing. Caution. All crew members to station. This is the Starship Bob. We are landing.
You'll be live. Right. Good evening. Excuse me. A little bit of a delay there. For some reason, it actually worked and stopped playing at the end of the track. It's not done that before. Anyway, Darkcity Radio, folks. This is the Darkcity Show. We've got a guy with us tonight. Dawn's going to take off the first hour. We'll open the phones. Well, give us an hour, maybe 45 minutes, half an hour. We'll let you know, and then you can all dive in, and we'll do the normal as we normally do. But anyway, without further ado, it's the Darkcity Show. It's a show as well. I'll hand it straight over to Dawn, and I'll let you introduce our special guest for tonight, Dawn.
Hello. Okay, our guest this evening is actually an experienced US attorney at law and British solicitor and activist. His name's Alexander Penley, and his website is penleygloballaw.com. Now, Alex is going to be here to talk to us about his experiences at Occupy Wall Street. He was there right from the beginning, and there'll be more. We'll talk about other things as well. But in the meantime, before I actually launch into asking Alex anything, I'm going to just describe what Wiki says about Occupy Wall Street. And obviously, if Alex has anything to say about their description, if he doesn't agree with anything, he can clarify it. So what they say is Occupy Wall Street was a protest movement that began on September the 17th, 2011 in Zuccotti Park in New York's Wall Street Financial District. Now, Adbusters Media had initiated the call for the protest with assistance from Manhattan-based PR firm Workhorse, who worked on client brands including Mercedes and Saks Fifth Avenue. The ensuing series of events helped lead to global media awareness that inspired Occupy protests and movements around the world. The main issues raised by Occupy Wall Street are social and economic inequality, greed, corruption, and the perceived undue influence of corporations on governments, particularly from the financial services sector. The Occupy Wall Street slogan, "We are the 99%, refers to income inequality and wealth distribution in the US between the wealthiest 1% and the rest of the population. The idea was to achieve their goals by acting on consensus-based decisions made in General Assemblies which emphasise direct action over petitioning authorities for redress." And the protesters, lastly, were forced out of Zuccotti Park on November the 15th, 2011 after several unsuccessful attempts to reoccupy the original location. Protesters then turned their focus on to occupying banks, corporate headquarters, board meetings, colleges and university campuses. So, Alex, I'd like to welcome you to the show.
I have a couple of things to say on that. I don't know where that came from, but it was neither a protest nor it was a movement. It's an idea. The whole thing is just an idea. It's basically, if you take the tenets of squatting, it's basically the whole context of squatting is saying, well, this is an empty house. It's my house. It's like, I am sorry, I need a place to live. This is mine. All right. And we were saying that about the entire world, that it's all ours. The rich say that it's theirs, but it's not. They don't own 50 different places. They don't own everything. No, sorry, you don't. We do. We, the people, everybody. We have one planet and it belongs to everybody. I think that it's a misinterpretation to say that it was a movement because it wasn't, or a protest. It wasn't. We weren't protesting anything. We were simply saying that, like, look, mate, you've had your go. It's over. You're pretend like, you know, little bits on a computer screen that account for fiat currency, they account for money, don't mean a damn thing. What means something is my kids can't eat. They will be able to eat. They will have a place. And everywhere is where we will occupy because that's where we belong, is everywhere. Because if you look around any country in the world, you'll see all these areas, like rich areas where, in London as well as New York, for example, in certain areas, if you're walking through there, and you don't look rich, the police will look at you very, very questionably. Neighborhood watch or something might call in you because you don't look like everybody else. And that can't be the way. And basically what we were saying was, no, electoral politics doesn't work at all. Well, it works to keep the people in power, but it actually isn't an alternative. There is no alternative. You vote for, Citibank or J.P. Morgan.
Yeah.
And that's your vote.
Yeah.
And basically, we're not going to go to the ballot box because it's a waste of our time. Instead, we're just going to take it because forever and a day, you've just been taking it from us. And I'm sorry, it's all of ours. Not yours, all of ours. Okay. And that was the whole context. And people say, for example, now that Occupy is dead or what have you. No, it's taking new routes in different ways. But it's putting that concept and that idea into practice in everything we do and saying that we're not going to sit around and ask for handouts anymore. We're just going to take it because it's rightfully ours, full stop. And the point of it behind it was simple. I was actually at the information table for months at Scotty Park. And people would say, oh, it's about this, that, and the other thing. And that's part of the reason people wanted me to be there, because I put it nice and simply. I said it's about the rich are stealing from us, stealing our water, stealing our food, stealing our planet, treating animals, women, gay people, etc., everybody, even hell, white heterosexual males, other ones, like crap. And it's about getting rid of the rich completely as a concept, even. The idea of even being able to have wealthy people. And that it's not limited to capitalism at all. Because if you look with Russia or China now, or what have you, they have the rich. The only difference is they call them some, government title or whatnot, but they're still the ones who have everything. And everybody else is fighting for the crumbs. And under any system of hierarchy, the context of hierarchy creates that. And that's the problem. And that's what Occupy Wall Street and Occupy around the world, was saying. And we weren't the first one. In Israel, I think 3 months or something like that, before Occupy Wall Street started. It might have been 6 months, actually. They had Occupy Israel all over. Unfortunately, they were not dealing with, they weren't dealing with the issue of a free Palestine much at all, but they were dealing with a lot of similar economic issues, and in similar ways, actually. And so, basically people say that Egypt led to Occupy. And yeah, there's a lot of solidarity. I mean, I was in The Guardian last year talking about solidarity between Egypt and Occupy Wall Street. And that's true. But the solidarity as well and the origins didn't only come from that, but a lot of that, I think, came from Israel's Occupy encampments as well.
Right.
And those aren't very known about. I didn't even know about them myself until I was down there at Scotty Park and I met several Israelis who told me about it, basically. So,
yeah.
Because, of course, it's not in the international media, is it?
Mm. Well, you never get the truth from them.
No.
So,
no, you really.
Do you think that Occupy Wall Street and certain elements of Occupy Wall Street were manipulated by people or organisations or governments attempting to destroy it from within? Like kind of counterintelligence idea? Or do you think that the whole thing was legit?
What I found in Occupy was that, first of all, there were elements from the first days of Zuccotti Park, the National Socialist Party, even when we were having a General Assembly, set up another one initially, right? Like they were trying to make like they were it. Well, it was kind of funny, actually, because we just organized a General Assembly near them, and everybody left and went over to what was Occupy Wall Street's General Assembly and didn't want to hear them. And after a few days, they left. Internally, definitely, there's been some issues, more than anybody, probably from the Democratic Party. For example, there were buses which left from New York to go. And they only went to the Republican. Yeah. And when people came home or patting themselves on the back or whatever, well, what the heck are you doing? The other one's going on right now. Why are you
here? What happened to the sound there? Oh, it seems that our guest has dropped offline temporarily. So we'll try and get him back as soon as we can. In the meantime, would the crew like to join in?
I'm here, Dawn. I'm here.
All right, he's back. Sorry.
Yeah,
right.
But basically, what happened, what came out actually was even people got off the buses which were organized. Even people like escaped basically. You know, they'd be at a place where they, you know, like a rest area on the highway, and they got out because they wanted to go to this. They wouldn't let them go to the Democratic National Convention, you know? And when it came out, it actually was somebody who was an operative from the Democrats who got himself in a position of organizing the buses. So it only went to the Republicans. So that's been a big problem, but I think that we've actually weathered it very well. I think a lot of people kept their guard up, if you will, against that. Another thing is, even from the internal, there's certain individuals like, I'm forgetting his name, but he's one of the people who's a big organizer in hip-hop. Russell Simmons, yes. He is part of the 1%, and he was talking about how great he is and blah, 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 blah. And basically, amongst other things, he has a whole line of shoes which are all made by children in China. So we had something called Occupy the Courts that was primarily about this court decisions called Citizen United, which allows companies to be treated as people as far as giving money to politicians or whatever. And I actually mainly went to it because I felt like, well, this is really not something we're talking about because, you know, before this decision was passed, we had bastard politicians, and now, well, we have bastard politicians. So what? You know, not so what? Yeah, it's horrible, but it's just indicative of the whole thing. And no, we're never going to have decent politicians, so give up the fight. But regardless, this Russell Simmons character was invited to speak, and several of us just shouted them down and were saying, aren't the children who are making your shoes in China, aren't they part of the 9%? You know, that sort of thing. And it was quite successful because he was to speak for, I think, 45 minutes, and he spoke for about 3 before he was forced out. He left, and he left. He left the protest, stormed away, because basically we just shouted him down so much he couldn't talk. So there's enough elements within it who are good organizers, who've been able to confront and stop a lot of the infiltration. So I think it's more that they tried than they were fully successful.
Yeah. So, what do you think about the current status of the movement being forcibly removed from the streets, and what that means about the freedom for Americans to voice their opinion on their land, public land?
Well, I think it goes deeper than that, Don, actually. I've been protesting in New York City on and off for over 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was used to, if there was something going on, and say it was a protest that would last 4 days or something, I was used to, I was used to one day the police would crack heads, break the law, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? That's what I was used to. And the other days would just kind of go forward as scheduled. Even if somebody broke a couple windows, they might get arrested. It was kind of at least keeping within the law from the police, okay? But from day one of Occupy Wall Street, first of all, I could tell the tensions were high. So I worked kind of as a liaison between the police and Occupy Wall Street, so that, for example, when we started making signs, they started expanding exponentially. And there was a lieutenant, you could tell from his white shirt that he was a higher-up, who was talking to people who were making the signs. And I came up and I was like, excuse me, officer, whatever. What do you need? You know what I mean? So that they wouldn't talk directly to them. And if people were really angry, that they wouldn't get too angry and do something stupid, so that they would have so the police would have an excuse to kill people. And in that way, basically, regardless of, even people who were being peaceful, very peaceful, extraordinarily peaceful, I think there's a fair argument to say too peaceful, but regardless, every single day, the police were breaking the law like it was nobody's business. As a matter of course. It wasn't one day they did that. It was every single day. They were arresting people for, drawing with chalk on a sidewalk, which isn't illegal. They were pepper spraying. Well, I mean, you've seen the famous video of Anthony Bologna, for example, spray painting this woman, just spray painting.
Pepper spray, yeah.
Yeah, and just in the air until he found somebody, that sort of thing. But one thing, for example, with their constant breaking of the law was, several times, at least on 3 occasions where I was there, we were going to protest, and they shut down the entire block. And I'm sorry, you're able to protest outside his house if you want. That's fine. He lives in an apartment building. You're allowed to be there. But they shut down the entire block. Another time, after people tried to go into land that was part of Trinity Churches, which is a Protestant church, and they there was a couple of the higher ups in the church got arrested for trespassing on their church's soil. We went to protest the head of Trinity Church, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And about, I want to say maybe a 2-block radius was completely shut off, where we couldn't get anywhere near the guy's place. So he wasn't even an elected official. And they shut off tons of blocks. Yeah. And it was like, what, and then because they know what they're doing is illegal, okay? And I've videotaped a lot of it. And my YouTube name is Revel-esque. I used to go by Reverend Now and Reverend Now Esquire, Revel-esque. There's a lot of video showing this, but but basically, I wanted to get the badge numbers, of the police. And,
so we could identify who it was that's doing it.
Yeah, but they weren't there. They didn't have them. They didn't have them with them.
Yeah, they had them conveniently.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even have them. In fact, actually, I'm sorry. It wasn't only they didn't have them. It wasn't only that. Some protests I was at, they had black tape, that wasn't an individual decision. That was from high up, right?
Oh, yeah.
They had black tape over their badge numbers. I mean, it wasn't even oops, we all forgot them that day. But it was giving us the finger, basically just saying no, you don't have any law, rights. Are you kidding? And in that way, it really shows the way in which martial law has taken over this country. You just... Sorry, go ahead.
You just have to look at was it JP Morgan Chase that gave the NYPD that 4.6 million?
Oh, 4.6 million as well. Yeah, that was a separate thing. Yeah.
So, I mean, you've already got, like, the corporates funding.
One critical thing to know about them giving the police money like that is that, let's say, and I'll be suing the police. We can talk about that in some other show. But
that's like a whole other show.
Basically, okay, when I am successful in my lawsuit against the police, I will win money. Probably a lot of money. Okay? Now, the situation is this. The JP Morgan, they're giving them money for something specific on top of everything else. Okay? When I sue them and I'm successful, when other people already have successfully sued them, they have a general budget for the city. Okay? So it's not taken out of police budget when they get sued. It's taken out of the city budget. But these companies are giving money directly to the police for extra stuff. But they're not able to get it taken away. It's madness. You know.
Oh yeah.
And and that's the thing is that, like, I remember being there on the New Year, year before last year, this past year, when the National Defense Authorization Act passed, and I don't want to put it that way from a mental perspective, but I had something like a logical nervous breakdown, if you will, of just like, what am I doing? What am I doing in my life? What am I doing here? Because I realized after that there is no Constitution, because the National Defense Authorization Act got rid of the Constitution completely. So I was thinking, why am I a lawyer, and what does it actually mean to be a lawyer if there is no law? Right? Wait, without a Constitution, which is the basis of law, and that doesn't exist, my profession is rather, redundant, I guess.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
because it kind of takes the power away from and what you're trying to do. Like, obviously, you fight your cases, and you're kind of being hampered in your job.
Well, I have to take an oath, okay, when I become a lawyer, that you're sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States. And if that doesn't exist, well, I mean, it just doesn't mean anything at all at that point. In my opinion, every politician who voted for any aspect of the National Defense Authorization Act within law, if we were to keep the Constitution, every single one of them should be impeached and in prison for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, they're all traitors. They're all treason.
I mean, in the very basic of what that means, within the statute of that, they are. Absolutely. I don't know if it's still accessible. It probably is. But if anybody is interested out there, I was on Occupy TV, which is a public access television program in New York. Have a half-hour program where I talk about the National Defense Authorization Act, breaking it down legally and what it means, which is interesting. But I hope that people there know about it, but I'm not quite sure if they do. But basically, it gives the right of the government to imprison somebody based upon very vague things that they are associating with terrorists, but even terrorists is not very well defined at all, for the rest of their lives without trial, without any hearing. And they can be isolated, and that's fine. They could just be, shoved in a cell by themselves, incommunicado forever, without any hearing whatsoever, which we already know they're doing at Guantanamo Bay, Gitmo, etc. However, this also applies to American citizens on U.S. soil and anybody, basically. And when you consider who's been deemed a terrorist in the past, if you look at, the Stoke Newington 8, et cetera, things of abuses of power which happened in England, If you look at the African National Congress in South Africa, etc., it's obviously, it's easy to deem somebody a terrorist. And basically, if you look at the statutes, they are, as I said, even on that basis, there is such a thing as being unconstitutionally vague, because you're supposed to be able to follow the law. Okay? So it has to be explained to you. Doesn't mean you have to know it, because if you didn't read it, that's on you. But if you do read it, you have to be able to understand what the heck it means so that you don't break the law. Because if you don't know what it means, well, you could break the law and not mean it, because it doesn't make any sense. So it has to be specific enough to make the possibility of due process there. And
otherwise they're just going to be arresting people willy-nilly, whoever they want, basically. It's just totally thrown out people's, should I say rights, but it's unworkable.
Well, as if that wasn't enough, only a few months after that, they passed another law which says that if you're protesting in an area where they find that there's somebody who's, deserving of protective status, whom they can just say that's this guy or that guy, whatever, not the president or somebody, just somebody who happens to be a Secret Service agent or whatever. I mean, basically somebody they find to be worthy of that status, that for protesting, even if you don't know that person of interest is there, for protesting in and of itself, you can get 15 years in prison.
Yeah.
And all they need to do is find out where the protest is going to be. And again, it's a matter of how far they are. Like, half mile. I can't off the top of my head remember the distance, but it's something like a couple miles or half a mile or something like that. All you have to do is get a room at a hotel with somebody of interest. Yeah. And then anybody protesting there can get 15 years in prison.
Do you think despite that, do you think there's still people out there that want to reignite the Occupy Wall Street? Who really don't care about their safety. They want to get things done. They want to make a stand against the system.
Well, it's taking different. It's basically, as an idea, it's taking different roads now, if you will. And for example, I'm working with somebody who is trying to work with a person who they're trying to make all public transport in the New York City area free. Now, whether or not that's going to happen, it's like, well, we got to get to work somehow, that sort of thing. And unemployment's being so high, blah, 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 blah. It makes sense. So it's just taking different inroads in different ways,
Trying to.
The interesting thing is how safe you are, even if you're following the law, even if you're not protesting. Because very recently, under the Freedom of Information Act request, information came out from the FBI saying that they were showing how hits were being orchestrated against people involved with the idea of Occupy. Even people who'd never been to Zuccotti Park, okay? For example, they were showing that even politicians who had taken up some of the ideas of Occupy, because even if we're going to say that on some level votes count somewhere, that they actually count them. Presidential, forget about it. That's all fixed. I'm 100% certain. But, for a city council person or whatever, okay, they realize, a lot of politicians realize, well, they have to take some of these things of Occupy into account, because these are a lot of people who are thinking these ways, all right? So some of them made them part of their platform, and they were organizing hits on such people. on such politicians. And whether or not, and basically the FBI had knowledge of these things being orchestrated and at a minimal weren't doing a darn thing about it. Didn't care. And it's like, are you serious? Like, you just don't care then? Right? Yeah, it's fine. They can just go and murder people. Okay. And so it's become the situation where people don't feel comfortable or safe. I think maybe that was part of it being an idea. Of even having the idea is enough to get you shot. If you say anything about it.
It's like obviously pre-crime.
Sorry?
Thought crime, pre-crime. It's kind of disturbing.
Well, right now, they've just come up with something in New York City where they are going to be arresting people or putting them away for who have mental health issues just in case.
Yeah, just in case they plan to kill somebody or just in case they plan to commit some sort of inverted commas crime.
Well, I think the thing to do is understand it's probably the same with mental health there, that you are able to lock somebody up for mental health issues if they are an immediate threat to themselves or others, which I don't have. It can be politically used, absolutely. But when it's not, I don't think it's a bad idea, frankly. Because, for example, where I live, right next door to me, there is somebody who is, she has a lot of mental health issues. There's absolutely no question. She is completely out there. And I could see her getting to the point if she didn't take her medication or, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. I can't even say medication because it doesn't usually work very well either. But whatever. I could see that she could potentially pose a threat at some point. So if she went and started smashing, something, or even in her own, right, did something completely, smashed up all the furniture in her house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would be beyond the pale to say, hey, maybe this person is actually a danger to themselves. Because today she smashed up her furniture. Tomorrow she could smash her own head in. You know what I mean? But when it's like, well, maybe next year they might do something. Are you serious? Like, maybe not. They might not, too. Hold on. Wait a minute. They have to have some rights.
It's like, where do you draw the line, really? Yeah.
Exactly. And, it's always easiest to pick on those who are the most, the least sexy or whatever, Nobody's like, oh, that person looks really cool, who's completely mad. Nobody feels sorry for them, no matter what happens. It's the way our society is, unfortunately, is those who are the most vulnerable. And if you have mental health issues, you're pretty bloody vulnerable.
Oh yeah, especially with Attis over here. That's a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah, and it's hard to, it's a hard sell to say, hey, wait a minute, let's stand up for those people too. But those are exactly the people we have to stand up for, because if we don't stand up for them, nobody else will.
Absolutely.
If we put somebody in that box is going to keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger until we're all in that box.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people are very judgmental.
Yeah, I think that, there's two things about Occupy, too. Number one, it was very enheartening to me because for years, since I've been back in New York, I hadn't seen a lot of protests, and growing up as a kid in the 80s, you couldn't walk like 3-4 blocks without seeing a protest about something. Whether you were for it, against it, or just didn't care. There were people standing up for what they believed, and for the longest time, in the last few years, you could walk around for an hour and a half in the city, in Manhattan, and not see anything. Maybe you'd see 2 people picketing with the union, and that'd be it, and seeing it, invigorated like it was through Occupy was really pleasing to me, and it was very difficult to organize because so many of the people maybe had never been in a protest in their lives, and there were a lot of kids, by kids I mean everything from 13 to 20, people who didn't have a good deal of experience in it. So it was difficult to organize because they didn't really know what consensus process is and, this and that and the other thing. But it was also great because it enabled the whole thing to be much more relevant to the present, So it wasn't a bunch of people who are like me in their 40s. Well, in the 80s punk rock way, we would blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, it's 2013. Maybe it definitely has some lessons which can help, but it can't be the be all and end all, Yeah. So in that way, and somebody asked, what's consensus process? It's basically, in my opinion, the best way and the only way to get things done, which are something which is worth keeping. Because what we have become accustomed to is representatory democracy and that sort of thing, where if two people agree and one person disagrees, F the person who doesn't agree, the majority goes forward. The whole point of consensus is that everybody involved, and in the General Assemblies it was that way, everybody who's involved has a voice. So that if you have concerns about it, you can say, hey, wait a minute, I kind of have these questions. If you really don't like what's going on, and there's, 50 people who do like what's going on, but there's 5 people who just don't, or one person who doesn't, that one person, it shouldn't be used regularly, but on that one issue, that one person can block the idea from going through, the decision from going through, and it just won't, because they won't let it. So basically, it works so that every person has a voice as a body in any decision which goes through.
Yeah, that's probably the fairest way.
It's the what way?
The fairest.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. That's the point. And we also did a fair amount in there trying to make sure that voices which aren't normally heard were heard. For example, I lived in a student cooperative house for years when I was younger. And we noticed that, we had to do a fair amount to make sure, for example, there's a woman with a soft voice and a man with a loud voice. That the man will wind up saying 80% of what's said and the woman 20%. That's not right. Because that person who's soft-spoken and female has just as much to say. And it's just as important a part of the overall body, And so we really try to keep it in check and look out for things like that to make sure that, well, hold on, this person hasn't spoken in a while and it seems that they want to speak. Even when we had our hands raised, well, if somebody kept raising their hand, that's not what, that wouldn't be that. That would be, well, hold on, let's go to this person instead because they haven't spoken in a while.
Yeah.
And you really have to do that because even consensus process can be taken over by a few people if it's not monitored well with compassion in mind.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You made a lot of very valid points tonight. I've really not got much more that I think we can cover tonight. I was going to ask you about obviously your arrest, but you want to talk about that maybe in another show because it'll probably take quite a while for you to cover that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, because basically it's so complex.
Yeah.
What happened? I mean, I was brutalized by 11 police officers without any badges on, and were in plain clothes to start with. But so much has happened since then as a result of it and related to it. That it's definitely something that would take quite some time, and it's something that is worthy of. Basically, I felt like I was in the book Catch-22 in the middle of some of the things I was going to, and it sounds like pure fiction, to be honest. If it hadn't happened to me, I might not believe it.
We'll definitely get you on again then, and you can talk specifically about that. Okay. So we'll sort something out with you later after the show.
Yeah.
Well, as a lawyer, what advice would you give to activists who find themselves being harassed by cops and or illegally arrested?
I don't have the website right now, and actually the website which I have, I know that there was one law firm and one lawyer that put out a whole series of videos on what to do that were really responsibly made. Because if you assert your rights, like, look, punk, I got the right, you're going to get your butt kicked. But it actually put the ways in which to assert your rights really well, in a way that wasn't affrontive or offensive to the officer, but let them also know that you knew your rights, so that it helped with the balance, even if you're alone. That's the critical thing, is to know that don't give up your rights just because you're alone. But at the same point, I think the most critical thing, I think if people look on search engines for the UK too, I would imagine that, I know there's several groups that work with, offenders and things like that. I would imagine that there are videos out there like that. It's very important to know all of your rights, but it's also important to think about how to best assert them. And the other idea is, even if you can't find videos like that, if you have 5 friends, say, start a group, get together, and look over what all your rights are if you're stopped or if you're a protester, blah, 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 and bounce ideas off of each other of which one of those ideas and how to assert it so that you don't get illegally granted, but get your butt kicked. Basically that's it, is, how to basically say F you to an officer without saying F you, and saying I have my rights, but not saying it in their face, as much as saying that and getting what you need out of the situation. Because what you need out of the situation isn't to make the officer feel like crap. So what? You're going to feel like crap if you're beaten up, or if they charge you with false charges, or whatever. So the best situation at that point is to make that officer feel comfortable as possible, while you have mentally made him or her give you the rights which are yours.
Yeah, I see. Okay. The other thing is, do you have anything else that you'd like to add before we finish up?
There's one thing, and I know you probably wouldn't even agree with me on this, but I thought it was really cool the way that, in my opinion, the 99% include animals and include the planet. And I thought it was really cool how Occupy London was completely vegan, because it was really hard to find anything outside of white bread at Occupy Wall Street, which was pretty darn frustrating. So, because there's a lot of us who are vegan activists, and if you're out there all day long and you can't eat anything, you're not going to be very good at fighting back, because you'll be tired.
Actually, well, you mentioned Occupy London. Dom, are you there?
Oh, let's see. What?
Dom was at Occupy London. He might have something to say on Occupy London.
Oh, cool.
Is he here?
I don't know if he's back yet with us, Dom.
He's maybe not there. Well, another time then.
I was giving advice on Facebook, but that's about it. And I know they did a lot. The main thing that they had added overall to Occupy around the world, I found, was a lot of the tech stuff, including our own social media. It's Occupy, spelled not with a Y, but ii.org, for example, was all made out of Occupy LXC. And that, but yeah, as far as the tech people go, they have been really on top of it and and I think really helped a lot of the occupiers around the world, as well as, so not just in London, but all over, including Occupy Wall Street.
Interesting. Well, Alex, I'd like to say thank you very much for your time and for coming on the radio. And you're welcome to stay with us or whatever you like tonight. I think I'm going to get with the kids. Okay, that's fine. Thank you again. And can we have a little jingle?
No station needed, especially if play kind shift the paradigm, bring in the new D's. The culture turns powerful, devil got blue knees, Darkcity true indeed. This time it's neon meat, could have been Beasley, easily. Peace to the soul known as Simon Measy. Jumped into the 3D after me, see one more angle, recognise blessings. This one now about to seriously flip fam. No thank you, you can keep your implant and all of your hierarchy system malarkey. We join into circles, opposite the bloodline of Angela Merkel's. Same as Krang in the Turtles, that had to go and that much for certain. This is a movement that moves with a purpose.
I now live debt-free. I will never borrow again because I have stepped out of the game. I have signed out as being a citizen of my own country because I'm happy now to realise and recognise that I'm a child of the land of this planet. Everything has changed. Everything has become clear.
Yo, the call went out and got answered. Raise the vibration, embrace shadow dancers. Meadow man dig deep, plant seeds and reap rewards like the chords on the beat. It's simple like bar went the sheep. It's simple, make poor obsolete and deplete the elite. Delete the police, we need peace in the streets, not corporate policy enforcement peeps. Known as the popes like both of those blokes in robes, thrones, clones and loans. Dug from a watery grave, swimming in wisdom. Rise up, take a breath, you're not the fiction. Check Black's law addiction, don't get fooled, get informed and drop jewels on the system. Be like a system, full of wisdom, ready to release and flush out all the shit, son.
If you've not broken the law, which is harm, loss, fraud, then everything will be a statute or act. They'll ask you your name, just say to them, am I being detained or am I free to go? And that's all you have to say. I'll tell you what to look up online. Look up information regarding free man on the land. No. This is all the law information that's coming out. Try and get rid of all that deception that's going out.
Understanding the cipher, TV, devilish, piper, mind thief in the night, rewrite ya, all day, all night, it excite ya. Now it starts to delight me too. You'll start to see more truth, like MPs with little boys found in the nude, exposed in the news to the masses. This shift is massive, positive attraction, fast action, practice, discipline daily. Yang 108, long form shape me, play with the energy, ever energy, DNA shift to original pedigree, previous enemies transmuted. Wanna know about Rasputin, Asputin, RT news on the tube, one step closer to truth, that's beautiful news.
In light of the 21st century advancement of technology, the vast knowledge available to expand humanity's collective consciousness, it seems like we constantly regress back to what we're comfortable with, even though they've been proven historically to have monumental failures.
Yes. I call it a move from superstition to science.
Let go of the anger, let go of the upset, connecting with the movement. This is a moment of evolution. All that is happening is that we are evolving as a species, we are evolving as a race, we are evolving as a being, we are evolving as a universe. This is a moment of learning. It's like breaking through an old shell into a new shell. So allow yourself to break through, even if it's painful. Allow yourself to break through focused and knowing that this is part of growth. We are becoming enlightened. We are becoming aware. Be strong. Be in your heart. Be of vision. Do not be afraid. And I will see you somewhere, sometime I wish you well.
G'day guys, this is Matt from Australia. We've had a bit of a shit of a time here lately with the weather, but I get a lot of enjoyment out of listening to Darkcity Radio.
Hi, it's Rupert, and when my homosexual tendencies are at their height, I like to listen to the Dark City, because Barbara makes me feel pretty. And he did this all on a waiter's salary, which practically nothing after taxes and drugs. Hi, it's Rupert. Get your fucking elbows off the table. And my food is absolutely disgusting. But that doesn't stop me from listening to the Dark City. I ate a whole baby! God damn it! Hi, it's Rupert. Get your fucking elbows off the table. Hi, it's Rupert. Get your fucking elbows off the table. And my...
We can't stop him once we get him going. So we did we did actually do a few of those last night. We were, and they're quite quick. We're going to put some, put some music to them and stuff like that. But they were that funny. We had to stick him in. So thanks to Rupert from Hi, it's Rupert on YouTube. If you are out there, and also to Matt from Australia, who just did that. Great little things. I love them dearly, and they are quite funny, aren't they? They are quite funny. So yeah, big thanks to Rupert from that. Let me play you this one.
Hi, it's Rupert. Get your fucking elbows off the table. And my food is absolutely disgusting. But that doesn't stop me from listening to the Dark City. I ate a whole baby! God damn it! Well, hi, it's Rupert, and when I get done slaying dragons, I like to curl up with my Rupert teddy bear and listen to the Dark City. The Dark City, where a weirdo like me can absolutely be himself.
So yeah, Dark City, where a weirdo like you can absolutely be yourself. Couldn't have said it better.
Good point. It takes all kinds.
It certainly does. It certainly does. I've been keeping my eye on the chat tonight, and there's quite a 9/11 discussion going on. Or there has been. I think it might have gone now, or maybe it's still there. I mean, no, it's still going on. So yeah, 9/11, the biggest psyops that we've ever known. What difference will it make? None. You find out now, it's too late, it's already happened, nothing we can do about it. Keeping us focused into situations we can't do anything about. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Can I do anything about what happened in 9/11? Now, don't get me wrong, I am not being complacent here. That's not what I'm about. I'm just pointing out the obvious. We need to be informed of current events, what's ongoing, rather than past events and what did occur. Now, I'm not saying we can't learn from our past. Of course we can. But repeatedly making the same mistake, as I have said many times before, and expecting a different outcome is insanity, or at least the definition of it. So, what good will it do searching for answers in the past? None. We need to implement the solutions in the moment, and then we will not be troubled by these things in the past. So, that's my little spiel. 9/11, we have wasted far enough time on it. If you are uncertain of the facts, then ask yourself the question, does your government tell the truth? If the answer is yes, then you need to go on to a thing called the internet, and there's a programs what you can get called search engines, and you need to research and research and research until you have removed your ignorance, and the collective of mankind will thank you later. So that's my little rant on that done. We've joined tonight. I don't know actually who we have got there. Dom might be kicking around. He is there and he isn't there because he is the sleuth. We've got Dan. I don't know if Dan's still with us. He has been on. He came in to give us information on Linux in Dom's show. He might still be kicking around. Hope you are. If you're there, Dan, please speak up. And Prajna's with us. And Dawn, what a cracking show for you there, Dawn. Oh, I know it's not your show, but you know what I mean? You did brilliant. It was like you were the host and you were doing the interview, and it was just like you were dead professional. In fact, Robohippy was kind of like, hey, she's better than the Dark City. And then he actually pointed out that you were the Dark City. So that's good. You got some brilliant compliments there, Dawn, coming in. Really good stuff.
I'm very flattered, thank you. It was a good interview. He had a lot to say for himself, so yeah, it was quite an easy person to interview. And it always helps. You know, rather than asking somebody something and they're only giving you like 2-word answers or something, whereas Alex expands on things and goes into detail, which is quite good.
Yeah, I would have liked to have catch him on the question of law and of consent, because that's really different between.
Well, we'll have him on again. We can have him on again, definitely. Yeah. I'll get in touch with him and sort something out so that we can get back on in another Sunday show.
Yeah, and then hopefully he can instruct me on how to get out of this illegal fictitious mortgage that I've been paying since the birth of baby Jesus. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a few things I'd like to look at. I'd like to put across, because, you know, more so because he's an outsider looking in. That's a good thing for me. As an outsider, when you look at something, you can often see the obvious that I might not be able to see. Living amongst it, you know, we don't often see that. What's really going on around us. It does take an honest stranger to come in and point these things out to you a lot of the time. Well, I know it has for me on many occasions. So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff,
I think, like, Prajna can ask Alex the next time he's on about the Delphi technique as well, and you're really better addressing him, because then he can...
Dawn, he may not even know of it as the Delphi technique. All he knows of it as is the consensus process. So he knows the rules and all the things that he's learned. This is how we arrive at consensus. But probably he doesn't even know that it's named Delphi technique. You know, this is snuck into all kinds of protest organizations and so on.
And beyond that, I mean, it choose well beyond.
Oh, sure.
It goes into business and NGOs and well, it's everywhere.
Transition towns, you found it in.
Yeah. It was actually developed by the Tavistock
Institute.
It's
that's a good thing. I mean, if you come on and you talk about that and you share your knowledge with them about it, you know, and have a discussion going about it.
Yeah. Love to speak to him about it. Yeah, because I used to be involved in transition towns way back when, and they were using all these techniques, and it was all brand new to me, and all made perfect sense. And it started not to feel right, you know. There were personalities coming and getting involved there, when actually the people that started it, if you know what I mean, and they were bringing these techniques and teaching these techniques, and it got infiltrated, basically. I didn't know that then, that was the process. I've learned since. And so I came away from that just feeling uncomfortable, and came into all of this. And years later, I find out what those techniques were and why it was that I was uncomfortable with that.
Sure.
So it's very, I would like to talk to Alex about it. Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll definitely be getting back on. At least once more, maybe hopefully more, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, you'll definitely be coming on again anyway, so hopefully we can get him to stay for the whole show, and then
yeah, that would be good.
It would be good.
What he was saying about the origins of the Occupy and the ethos behind it before it went to Wall Street, and you know, that grassroots thing. That's just absolutely what happened with the transition towns, and other things like it as well. So yeah,
as soon as some grassroots organisation starts up and starts becoming effective, having an effect, then of course I'll get infiltrated, and then I know that Alex said yes, we knew that we were infiltrated, but we worked around it. You know,
but they don't know the method of the infiltration.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
This is the thing. You have to be actually conscious of the methods that they have in order to not be manipulated by those methods.
Yeah.
But yeah, fascinating.
Obviously, I can't speak for Alex, and
love the guy. Yeah, love to speak to him.
But yeah, we can sort something out.
Yeah, we have got Paul there trying to get in. I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Paul, apologies. We keep bringing you in. And Robohippy, we've just lost again. He's connection. He really needs to sort his port out. We've had that off him for 2 or 3 days now, haven't we? So yeah, don't know what's going on there. My apologies to Paul. We had some brilliant chats with Paul the other day. She's trying to get back in, but again, it's dropping the call for you, Paul. Perhaps restart your Skype and then call back in the show. Actually ring Bob's Backyard, and I'll endeavour to bring you in that way, mate.
Turn it off, turn it on again.
Yeah, that often works, doesn't it? Just switch it off, switch it back on.
What would you do without Callie?
Also, as well, if you are having a problem getting into the chat room, that is probably the best advice. Just switch yourself literally off and on again, and often that will kind of sort you out with an IP. And there isn't a lot we can do, or an on-net can do, if your IP is being blocked by IRC on the net. It's just one of them things. And what I'm actually finding out is a lot of the IPs that are getting blocked are being reissued back out again until they actually find somebody who's not using it, because, as Prajna said, quite a lot of them have been used.
Well, actually, they get issued randomly. They just have a big pool of IPs. So if you're connecting via, say, 3Mobile's got a whole great big block. In fact, it's got several blocks of IPs, and it just hands you one of those out. And you might be lucky, and it might be fine, and you connect through to the chat. And you might be unlucky; it might be one of the duff ones. In which case, if you just disconnect from the internet, reconnect again, your ISP hands you out a new IP and all kinds of other rhyming things, and life's tickety boo.
Well, I've got a character here actually on the wings. If we would like to have him come and play with us, I have asked him, and he said, "Be careful." I actually put Darkcity shows on now. Do you want to play? And Batman has responded to me. Our Batman mate, and he's put, "Be careful. Yeah. Be careful what you ask for. Are you sure you want me to play?" So, do we want the Batman? I think we'll have the Batman. Why not?
Oh yes.
Let's. Why is he not coming in? Let me grab him from the bottom, and we'll have the Batman in here. If you are out there and you do want to get on Darkcity, chat with some of the people, just say hello. You can do that 2 ways at the moment, by adding Bob's Backyard. Why can't I see Batman now? Has he gone away? He was there a minute ago. Oh, that's very annoying. You can add Bob's Backyard to your Skype, or you can have and Santo Bonacci. He said he'd love to join us, but he's actually doing Italian radio at the moment, so that's pretty cool. Who else am I trying to get in? Whoa, sorry, I was going down the rabbit hole. Excuse me. 2 ways you can join us here on Darkcity. Add Bob's Backyard to your Skype, and just text me and I'll bring you straight in, or as quickly as I can. Or alternatively, you can ring via a landline. If you are in the UK, that's 0161 298 0298. If you're outside the UK, then that's 0044 161 298 0298. And we'll get you in as quick as we can. Right then, Batman, we've just been joined by... Oh, it's back. We lost the server for a second then. That's unusual. Go ahead, mate.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Hey, Batman.
Batman.
Hey, Batman.
Hey, Batman. Thanks for providing the dwarf that we've needed so badly.
A what?
Well, you're a bit dwarf-like in that picture there, And we have been in great need of a dwarf or slightly diminutive person. And
you don't get to be a classic, do you? If you don't have a dwarf in, apparently.
So I've been told. It's mind over matter. Yes, me, the only ones that are dwarfs. That's the ones thinks their minds are greater than others. Anyways.
So we're actually writing an epic on the Linux to write the new Linux server, and we've actually said now we needed a dwarf or a vertically challenged person. I'm not quite sure what the right terminology is nowadays. You'll have to forgive me. I'm an ignorant northerner. So yeah, we were writing an epic, and we realised at that point that all the great epics have got vertically challenged or dwarfs in them, and we can't actually be the epic of Darkcity unless you're a dwarf. And
could it be the only ones that are challenged that are the ones that believe somebody that's a dwarf is challenged?
I would agree with you, man. I would agree with you. But I do like your picture, and I think we might actually vote you in as the Darkcity dwarf, if that's all right, Batman.
Hey, so you can call...
His picture's adorable. It's like a dog with a Batman suit on.
Yeah. You can call me whatever you like, but does that mean I'm going to answer?
Well, we were hoping you wouldn't answer. Yes, that's kind of the idea. I mean,
maybe he should switch it to a cat pic with claws. Oh,
cat and dog fight here, maybe. Got to be careful.
Got to get the Catwoman in here. Yeah.
So I do think we are joined by Paul. Jim, can you mute your microphone while you're weeing in that bucket, mate?
Hello.
Hello, Paul. Nice one, mate. Welcome to Dark City.
How is everyone?
Well, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I can hear you fine, man. I think people are just giving you the time to speak. You know, we for some reason, everybody immediately went quiet to let you speak.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Paul.
It must be your energy, man, and the dynamic personality that you bring to Dark City. We've had...
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, well, I think you do, mate. I do. You think you're a great asset to us. Go on, Kelly.
Hello, Paul. I just reached across and unmuted to say hello, Paul. Glad you came back. And you, Batman. I'm going now, muting.
Brilliant. We have actually today, behind the scenes at Dark City, we're getting a new Australian host. Not going to mention any names yet. This guy's been doing a lot of research. He is quite controversial in a lot of his stuff, and he has been through the mill, so a lot of it is coming from personal experience. I had a chat with him today for a couple of hours, and we're going to be sorting that out over the next few weeks. I do believe he's going to go on with Dom first. He's going to be taking the show on Dark City. So that's really cool that we open up that Australian side. For those of you that follow Synchronicities, and you've been following Dark City, I know there's quite a few out there, I'd like to thank you for your support. While I'm mentioning you, you'll be aware that Susan is now in Australia. She is Australian, of course. She was in the UK, and now she's back in Australia. Unknown to Susan and unknown to this the new host, as I say, they are within half an hour of one another, or they will be within a day or so. And if you've seen the size of Australia, that is phenomenal. It really is. And over the last few days, we have had 4 different contacts coming from Australia, so that's really cool. If you are out there, and a big thanks to Matt as well for doing the jingle. There's another guy, Australian guy. So it looks like the Dark City has just landed in the Commonwealth of the Australias. So that's really cool. I'm really pleased to be mentioning that. We are getting the numbers. We're getting the numbers that everything's all right at the station. Dan, who hasn't spoken to us yet, I don't know if he is still with us, has been working pretty much solid all his spare time. He spends hours on that server. Are you with us, Dan?
Yeah, just grab me tea, wanna? Gotta eat sometime.
Got to stop to eat and drink, eh?
Oh, just a quick one, you know. Just bare sustenance, you know.
It's a bit of a nuisance, but has to be done.
Anyway, sorry, what did I miss? I just,
Oh, you've missed it all, mate. All the good stuff's now gone, and you dropped off for that minute. It's always the case, you know. It doesn't matter. You lose the server for a couple of seconds, you reconnect, and that's it. You miss the pinnacle point in the moment.
Oh well.
Yeah, that's why we have a podcast. That's why we got the podcast. Well, it's not a real podcast in the sense that most would use it. We just take the videos, we take the audios, and we put a few slides on them, and we add them to YouTube. Some of those slides are done by myself, and some are also done by Prajna. If you want to add slides to that, let us know. Email Robo. Is it Robohippy? Is that right, Jim?
You want to find my mouth? Yeah, Robohippy at bobsbackyard.co.uk. I've not done the rest of the emails. Bob's got one, and the other Bob's got one. When I get a chance, I'll do them all.
Yeah, I do believe Susan's is done as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Susan's is done as well.
So yeah, if you are on one of the crew and you want to do that, we can give you that email and bounce that around to you. So yeah, again, if you have got slides, any artwork, and you want to put it in, get in touch with Robohippy. He'll give you the sizes, and that'll make life easier. And you want to get them up there, we're more than happy. Of course, we kind of don't want to be kind of putting like the BBC broadcasting company on it or anything like that.
I would like 480 pixels by 360 pixels.
There you go.
If you can't change the size of it and stuff like that, I will change it, but I would prefer it in that format. It makes life much easier for me. So send it in.
So what are them formats again? What was that again, Jim?
480 pixels by 360.
That's 480 by 360. So there you go. Please do it. Let's get them in there. Let's do that. Well, we've got room for plenty of them slides. But once again, thanks to Prajna for sticking them in there, because they were really needed at the front. We didn't have any. In fact, I think he did the first lot, I think, if I remember rightly. So anyway.
Well, there were one or two that you had, I think. And
I think we just had the main Darkcity Radio Evolution, didn't we? The Evolution front page.
Yes,
that's all we had, and maybe the header from the website. So yeah, and then you put those others in, and then I knocked the ones to go with them. So yeah, if you look at that, see, have a look at it. We've got plenty of room to put them up there. If you're an artist and you want to get your stuff out there, Greg Stokes, a brilliant artist over in Australia. I want to try and get Susan to contact him because he's got some excellent work. Now, this guy is selling his artwork. That's what he does. He hasn't always done that. He's a builder. I've met the guy myself. He's a really nice guy. He does mindscape paintings, and some of them are huge, phenomenal. So, yeah, I'm quite happy to support him to sell his wares and his goods, and that's the same for the rest of you. Now, I'm not going to get into any products. You know, we're not talking about giving you a free product range and the site to use it. We're talking about people who are using art or their own skill to produce something. We're not talking about manufacturing or engineering or anything along that level. It's just because we've got to draw a line somewhere. This is about supporting divergent thinking and bringing art to the forefront. The reason why I mentioned that is about a video that's been mentioned a couple of times. It's called Changing the Educational Paradigm. If you've not already come across this video, type it into YouTube. I can hear somebody typing already, that's cool. Type it into YouTube, Changing the Educational Paradigm, and have a look at that video. If you are in education, you should already know about this. Maybe you've got a little bit lost in the red tape, but either way, whatever position you're at, whether you're a teacher, you're a headmaster or a headmistress, or you're in teacher training now, or you're a parent or a child, it makes no difference. If you're connected with education system in any way, have a look at that. The arts have been removed pretty much from education. All divergent thinkers, art is to think outside the box. That's what divergent thinking means, people who think outside the box. Without that, we would never, ever progress at all. Every single major breakthrough that we've ever had as a race has stemmed from thinking of something else. It's pretty obvious, I think, when I put it like that. You know, if a man hadn't thought about putting two wheels on a shaft and sticking it under a bit of wood, we'd never have a cart. If that hadn't have happened, you wouldn't have an automobile. You wouldn't have a motor car or a bus or a tram or a train. So, divergent thinking. It is really important. Education is changing, or at least I hope it's changing in that manner. I am aware that it is being integrated. How fast, I don't really know. But they haven't got a choice. This isn't suddenly the governments and the authorities turning round and saying, well, we are suddenly going to do the right thing. More is the pity. What it is the pressure, economical pressure under education. They have to start getting it to serve everyone, not just 85% of the population. So, two-tier system within education. One is for the academics, which serves about 15% of the population. The other 85% are divergent thinkers, and that is pretty much bred out of you or trained out of you as you go through the education system. Anyway, I don't need to harp on that and go on about it for ages, but please, if you are connected with any kind of education at all, whether yourself or your friends and family or your children, take a look at changing the educational paradigm. Okay, it is linked on the website, I do believe, or it was on the old links, and you can find them, the old links. I'll give you a back door. www.bobsbackyard/it's just a ride. There's another little site there hiding away. We've got a few of them. So, right, I've had my little rant on that. It's a bit of information I want to put out there. There are a few other things I've got, but please, are any of the crew, any of you there, do you want to get a say? Is there something that's troubling you? Is there something that's buzzed you up this week? Something that's put you down this week? Tell us your good sides and your bad.
Yeah.
If you've got any. You have, Paul. Take it away.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to come on and then start out just saying about the self-centered way of thinking. I used to, I mean, in society, you say someone's self-centered, that's an insult, yeah. But I think it's more that people are ignorant to what they really are. They look in on themselves, but then they just see themselves as the skin and flesh. When you see yourself as a temple for God, for everything, for you, just a reflection of everything else in the whole universe, you realize there is nothing but yourself, and that everything else is just you. And yeah, it sounds so ridiculous. They'd probably lock me up if I told the people at the Old Manor this. But on that point, being self-centered, I think, is a very good thing. But until you are at least free, basically. I just wanted to sort of waffle off about my current situation, really, and how I'm feeling, and why I'm feeling kind of down right now. Basically, I'm living with my parents. And my friends and family, and they're brainwashed as far as I see it. And sorry, I keep changing this thing because I've just wrote some stuff down here. I was raised to think, to learn and be good. Yeah, I was always a clever child. I was applauded for my brain. But the more I grew up, the more I seen that I wasn't learning, and my parents weren't learning. My family, they weren't thinking or being good. They were lying and deceiving, and it was just really, is that what they're raising me to be?
Well, could that be part of the learning?
So right now, yeah, I suppose.
And could it be?
I mean, of course it is. Of course it is.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. As long as you're pointing fingers outward, how are you ever going to realize what's inward?
Oh no, I am. Don't worry. I'm pointing inward in a minute. Hold on. I'm just getting into it.
Alrighty.
So I feel trapped right now. Because I need somewhere to live. That's one thing. I feel my water is poison. My food is poison. my friends and family are either full of anger or clueless around me. I feel segregated from everyone else. I mean, I can talk to them on a level, but all their focus are always on money, and I hate money. I see it as so evil. And I don't know what to do or where to go. I mean, I've never been anywhere. I was stuck in this town. Hold on, sorry. I mean, as I started learning what I think is I call the true way, the true things to learn about, what's really important in life. At first, I felt superior and ignorant to it. I know what's true. It's everything I see and feel, and yeah. And then I accepted it, but and I accepted that we are controlled, and there is this Illuminati as such. I don't like using that word, but that made me very angry, and it made me want to fight.
Why?
And then
some people believe I'm Illuminati. Yeah, I'm told some people believe I'm part of the Illuminati.
Well, I get angry at oranges. They get me really. I mean, I can't give you any reason why, Batman. You know, but I mean, I think the guy's being honest. He got angry. And that, you know, I think that's pretty cool, really. I don't think he has to tell you why, Batman. Only that he did, you know.
The question is, have you ever really met anyone that claimed to be part of the Illuminati?
Oh, me. I'm actually part of the Illuminati.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
I am the Illuminati. What is it? But what is our?
Yeah, me too.
Well, the thing was, why you angry with somebody?
I am the Illuminati of my own reality.
Why you angry with somebody you have yet to meet is the question.
Batman. I would really, I was really interested in what Paul was saying, and I know he was going somewhere with this, and I wanted to see where that somewhere is going to be. So I would love him to continue, and then when he's finished, because he's obviously prepared this, so let him go through it, and then we'll all pile in later, as we always do. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
It sounds like a plan. I'll try to shut up then. How's that?
Me and you, Batman.
Don't worry about
me and you, mate. Go on, pal. Have another shot.
Yeah, but please, do jump in. I don't mind. You know, everyone's got I wouldn't learn anything otherwise. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, so then, as I've always said for the past couple of years, I started taking loads of drugs, and everyone thought, he's going mad, he's going insane. Now my head has only got better and better and better. And yeah, I've had times when I'm just like, what's going on? I'm just stuck in a loop. I get stuck in a loop, but then I always get out of it, and I find a way out. And I've taught myself to accept and forgive now. I think, like earlier on, I was making a track. Accept and forgive myself and everyone else. Earlier on, I was making a track, and my dad came up, and the track was about God, basically, my version of God, what I believe to be the God, God as such. Anyway, he came up and very angrily told me to shut up because he could hear me, his own son, over the precious TV. In the past, I'd wish horrible things on him for being like this, and in the same sort of situation with others. I see ignorance of the world by authority, and honest, I want to stick a knife in their throat. I want to hang the bankers, shoot the bailiffs, and do all the same to all the other gangsters in the world. But I've learned to say, no, that's wrong. Rise above it, and rise above them, and ground myself with happiness, and forgiving myself for feeling these feelings. And happiness, I know I can only achieve when I accept the fact there is something I can do to get out of my own entrapment. But what, how, and where? It's driving me insane. I'm sitting here pulling my own hair out, trying to just get my brain to do something and to tell me what to do this or that, and I'm a very social creature.
But first thing to do is stop chasing after it, Paul. Yeah? Stop looking for it and look where you are and look at what is where you are. Yeah? And something will attract your attention, and that's something that demands attention. Yeah? And you don't have to go looking for it. All you have to do, Osho said a very wise thing once. Actually, he said a lot of wise things, but one of the wise things he said, one of the wise things he said was, "You never find the truth. It's always the truth that finds you. But you have to be at home, and mostly you're not at home."
Yeah.
Well, could it be you're getting what you're putting out?
Yeah.
You put out confusion to others, and they return it to you.
Agree.
If you find peace and say, "Hey, what can I do to help?" Oh,
yeah.
Dad, I speaking too? Did that offend you? Please forgive me if I offend you. I'll see what I can do about it. You see. You know, Dad's got a problem. See, most dads I met, including me, I've been one. Hey, this is my ship, man. And hey, you don't like the rules on it, start swimming. It was, and that's probably where he's coming from. And he has a point. He wants to keep the ship afloat so everybody gets what they need. And if there's somebody that's poking holes in the boat, well, he's going to pick on them. Try to get him to stop doing that. That's what he perceives, maybe. Maybe he's wrong, maybe not. But, you ever consider he considers himself the captain of a ship? And, but go ahead. But
yeah, and I consider he's also not happy.
Yeah, could it be because the way people treat him?
But,
you ever watch,
I'll continue.
You ever watch Mutiny on the Cane? It's an old movie with Humphrey Bogart, black and white.
We're not all as old as you, Batman.
Who said I was old?
Me.
Anyway.
I love the old black and whites, but I've not seen that one.
It's Mutiny on the Cane with Humphrey Bogart. I think if you
we're going to do a search and a download for that.
You ought to be able to get it off a torrent or something. I think it's out there. That's where I got it from. I think you'll find it interesting. It's about a captain of a ship, and they wound up getting him dishonored. But if you watch the movie, nobody was happy when it really happened. It was, what could we have done to make it better? See, but it's, I think you'll find it interesting if you get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, unfortunately we lost Paul there. He has been struggling with his internet. Try again, Paul, mate. We'll do my best to get you back in. I'll just call him back, see if it works again. Go on, were you trying to get in there, Prajna? Callie?
Callie was just saying, yeah, we're going to check this film out. And Paul, it looks like Paul's still connecting in the call, or maybe he's disconnecting from the call.
No, he's got bubbles.
Now the bubbles are gone.
No,
Paul,
he's
back.
got bubbles.
Says in a text he's trying to get
Hello?
back in.
Hello.
Yeah, he's back.
I'm back.
Cool.
All right, go on, Paul. Go on. I know you've got something down there. Have a go, man. See if you can get it finished, pal.
Okay. I've got to shut up as well because it's late. So where was I? Sorry. So I'm a very social creature, and I find nowadays. Another thing, I get very anxious nowadays being around people I consider sleeping as such, especially when they're in big groups. Because one-on-one with most people, I can find a way to have a nice conversation with them without triggering their defenses that I see in people and their retaliation to saying that their system's wrong. And I can plant a seed and they start agreeing with me and saying, yeah. And why do they do this? And I'll go, oh wow, have you thought about it like this? And then that sets them off on their own path, I suppose. But in a big group, the retaliation and triggers they set off in each other is just horrible. But again, I'm feeling trapped. Is it right to wake others up without being free myself? I have to be able to show them a better world, not just one that sees the prison bars. So what do I do? Where do I go? I'll do anything to help others, not for security like the gangsters want you to, but just for the real everyday social connections and capability to have the simple things I was promised since birth: water, food, life, etc. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of dying in prison to a system that helps imprison all my brothers and sisters. I need to get away, but also I want to stay. Yes, I'm scared. And yes, I know I have nothing to fear. People are good beings. I know many people try to say humans are evil and bad and scary, but they're not. We're all good. We're all good once. Once we know what we are, at least we're all good. Rabble.
Could I ask you a question?
Stop smoking and drinking because.
Can I ask you a question here?
Yeah, carry on.
Could it be the perception that there's such a big thing as freedom be the prison you're in?
Nah, not in this sense. In the sense that I want to clean my pineal gland and have water that's not poisonous and have food that isn't poisonous and the fact that technology's got only better and yet we work more. How does that work? You know, if you've got 100 times faster amount of farming, and yet we have to work more, it's because we've got excess. We've got too much consumption. We're just we're a bunch of waste man, really. You know, at the moment, we've got to just go back to nature.
Where are you getting all this stuff from?
The facts there, Batman, are actually
fluoride.
We are now 400%. More efficient in the producing of fruit and vegetables than we actually were in the Victorian age. So roughly in the last 100 years, give or take a few, right? Excuse me. We are now 400 times more proficient in producing food. However, the cost of food has gone up, and the manpower has come down. It's almost like we've had these technological advances, and it's got worse. When you do the figures, there's something is completely wrong. I've pushed for a long time in changing the perception of individuals to that food is free. You are actually not paying for food. Mm-hmm. You're paying for the fertilizers that are used in the production of food, and you're paying for the man hours and the transportation costs. That makes up probably 95%. Of the price you're paying for food. If we take this massive food production and make it localized, then the labor charges would drop, and also the transportation charges would drop. If you remove it then from the wholesale, from the farmer to the wholesaler to the market garden to the reseller, and you deal directly, then you'd drop another massive percentage of it. Again, in transport, and then with each individual person making a profit. Now, this is just cutting out the middleman, and a lot of the contractual stuff we get bamboozled into. So we are kind of quite contracted. I like the way Batman does it. He throws in that, well, hang on a minute. Who says that? That's the position. And a lot of the time, although it might seem a little bit off the wall, the way he does it, just have a listen to it. Because a lot of the time, he's not giving you the answer. It's a bit like the Hai Ching. But it doesn't actually give you the answer to your situation or problem. It just gives you another way to look at it.
Why should I give you something you already know?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm a moron. I do not require...
Exactly. It's all remembering.
Join the club, brother, but consider this. All you was talking about comes down to one thing. You ask me, the perception that there's such a thing as money.
Perception? Yeah, I'll go for the problem it is with perception. I wouldn't kind of categorise it all into the problem with money.
Well, the thing of it is, you think costs go up. Actually, costs all stay the same. The only reason they may appear to go up is because one believes they can have and own money.
Well, I wouldn't dispute that. Anyway, we have been.
I'd just like to say.
Go on.
I'd just like to say to Batman, I love your interjections, and I always have. I used to listen to you way back when in the Skype groups and stuff, you'd be posted around, and yeah, if I interject on your interjections, don't take it personally. I actually love them. All right.
Why would I?
We all love Batman, don't we? We love Batman on Dark City. Joined. One second, Batman. Just one second. We've been joined by Susan on the line. I don't know if Susan wants to have a quick say hello. And then we've also just been joined by Rupert. So, Susan, are you there? Okay, Susan's all quiet. Give us a bit of text if you come back. The reason why I do this is sometimes people have bad internet, and it can take a while to get there. Rupert, are you with us?
Yeah, man.
Hey, Rupert, how are you, man? Thank you very much for the jingles you've helped us with, Rupert. We've played a couple, and people have had a good. It had the desired effect. It definitely brought a smile and even rapturous laughter from the Cali and Prajna camp.
That's fantastic. Like that, they were really fun to do. I'll try to think of some more of them, but thanks for playing them. That's funny.
All right, the one about get your elbows off the table.
Yeah.
Me food's rubbish. I've eaten a baby. Oh my God!
I've eaten a whole baby.
Yeah, it is fun, man. So big thanks to that, and also for Matt as well, the Australian. Dude, yeah, I'll stick one on for you just because we're here and we can do that. Here you go. I nearly put don't drink crack and smoke. No, don't drink crack. Oh, I nearly put don't drink pee and smoke crack on them, but I'll put the goddammit one on.
Hi, it's Rupert. Get your fucking elbows off the table. And my food is absolutely disgusting. But that doesn't stop me from listening to the Dark City. I ate a whole baby! God damn it! Hi, it's Rupert, and when my homosexual tendencies are at their height, I like to listen to the Dark City, because Barbara makes me feel pretty. And he did this all on a waiter's salary, which practically nothing after taxes and drugs.
G'day guys, this is Matt from Australia. We've had a bit of a shit of a time here lately with the weather, but I get a lot of enjoyment out of listening to Darkcity Radio.
Hi, it's Rupert, and when I get done slaying dragons, I like to curl up with my Rupert teddy bear and listen to the Dark City. The Dark City, where a weirdo like me can absolutely be himself.
Brilliant, Rupert. Thank you very much. And to Matt as well. And I must say, it was... We were weeing ourselves, literally, when we were doing that. Really fun. So,
dude, are you for real?
Wait, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, babe, I'm for real.
Wow. I just thought I'd put that
in. Gorgeous,
You've got me now.
Yeah, I hate hearing myself talk like that.
What evidence that it was you?
Yeah, that
Say
was
that
me.
again, Batman?
I say, what evidence? Yeah, it was you. That's what I like to hear. Oh, can we do this stuff with them bat calls and that? What evidence do you have I own anything? Huh?
We were there.
I've got some beautiful samples to play with now. Thank you, guys.
I wasn't there. I was fishing in Blackpool with Stan.
I must admit, one bit we haven't used yet was the Bob getting quite angry at people playing folk music who didn't have a right to voice the word. I haven't done anything with it yet.
John was a little bit overwhelming. He can be. I remember an impromptu gig that he did at a pub in Andover, and that involved me piling a whole lot of musical equipment into my big Jag at the time, driving round to the pub, setting all this stuff up, which took ages and ages. And then John goes and he picks the microphone up and he says, "Hi, are there any Americans in the audience? You know, this is in his Canadian accent. And nobody answers, you know, and he says, fucking Americans. And then he just starts playing this music and everyone was in bits.
Yeah, our Rupert wasn't in the house that night, eh, Rupert?
Hey.
Not that I can recall.
I would have had a question for him. What part of the continent does he live on?
Who?
Well, we'll have to drag him. He's on his way flying out to New Zealand any day now, so he's a bit busy to come on the radio tonight. But otherwise we'd slap him on and we'd get him up against Batman, and you'd have a ball.
Oh no, Batman and Rupert would rip him to pieces. Wow.
Well, I used to live down in so-called San Diego, and I got to work with some Mexicans. I used to work in this motorcycle shop down there in San Diego. I forget which. I worked in a few of them. But anyway, you say how this guy allegedly was Mexican. And it was funny.
No, he was Canadian.
I'm sorry?
The guy I was talking about was Canadian.
Yeah, but what's the difference? The thing was, this one guy was from Mexican, and him and me got it. There was this other guy in there allegedly believes he's a United States citizen. And he was more or less saying Mexicans ain't Americans. And I says, well, where's he come from? Mexico. Where's Mexico? South America. Oh, okay.
Mexico
ain't American, though, huh?
Mexico's not in South America.
Or, yeah, it is.
Central, isn't it?
Dude, no, it's not. You need to do a geography lesson.
Well, maybe I need. It's my perception. You want to argue with it? It's still America.
My perception is I have $4 million in the bank.
I believe I know what you're talking about. South America is Brazil and down there, but Mexico's really in
Central America.
I always thought Mexico was actually in Mexico.
It's in Central America, man. It's
Central, yeah.
I stand corrected. The point was he's an American. It was. Does that make any sense?
So what? It's just a little dog with a Batman costume.
It's all good.
Bunch of geographists.
Yeah, what geography we going by anyway? Batman's or yours?
Welcome to the Dark City, where we talk about everything.
And Batman makes it up as he goes along.
We all do.
Don't give away the secret. This is all rehearsed. It takes hundreds of hours to bring this kind of show together. You'd be amazed. That was a lie. Excuse me.
Go on, Rupert.
Can I finish something, please?
Yes, Paul, please.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So the first bit I was on about, I was just sort of rabbling. There was just sort of thoughts coming out of my head. But a positive thing, I suppose, I've stopped smoking now, tobacco, and I've stopped drinking because I want to free myself more. And it's all going to be good. But like a lot of people probably listening, I have fear. I have fear of being free from pain as such, I suppose, because pain's it's nice, you know what I mean? It's easy to just sit in pain. It sounds ridiculous, but it is. But yeah, anyway, there's two sides to me, and like two sides to a lot of people, and they'll say, "Oh, you're bipolar." No, I'm not bipolar. I'm divine, the root, all there is. So yeah, there's two sides to me. There's two sides to everything. But for too long, one side has ruled the other, and vice versa, depending on what time of day it is. So I have to join my divide, and then I can help join mine and yours. When I'm one, I can become one with others. That's the way I see it. And like I said, temple. So I'm going to try and make myself healthier. So I've decided to make some goals right now. I'm going to get some clean water to drink without fluoride in. I'm going to do meditating more. And I'm going to get rid of processed food. And then I've got some money, so I'm thinking I can get rid of that and spend it on some sleeping bags, tents, whatever, things that would potentially help me if I want to go travelling. You know, I mean, I do want to go travelling. I want to get away and travel. I really, really want to get away from this life. I want to get away from money. I want work, but I don't want to work for money. You know, I want to help people, but I want to help anyone who can offer me a doorway. I want that I can walk through myself. Yeah, away from money. But in the meantime, I'm just going to bet myself because I've been wrong. I still do wrong. Like someone said at the Darkcity a little while ago, they said doing the same thing and we're expecting different outcomes. It's madness. Madness I was raised in, but it's madness nonetheless. Also, I want to get somewhere I can learn properly without fear that I'm learning to grow crops wrong or do this wrong or in a way that will harm me. If I try to learn on the internet, I can't so much put my skills into practice. Just, how can I learn to work on a farm on the internet? You know what I mean? And then I can't always be sure of where the information is coming from, and I could potentially imprison myself again, or continue the hold that is currently over me. From learning from the internet. I mean, the internet's brilliant, but there's so much lies and bullshit on there as well. You've got to be really careful. I don't really have much talent. I mean, I do. I'm talented, but I don't. You know what I mean? Not in the way that I could go around to someone's house and say, "Hey, I'll do this for you," and then that would mean you won't have to rely on the government for that part of your life anymore. I clean windows. That's all I can do.
Paul, you only need to be able to learn.
Exactly.
All you need are two things. One is interest and the second one is attention. And if you have interest and attention, you'll learn whatever it is easily. And you just need to have attention to a space when you go into it and see how it is before you change anything. This is the first thing to do, really. Yeah. And even if you can't break away completely to a whole new world yet, well, it doesn't often happen that you break away completely into a whole new world. Usually you take some steps out the door first and you mix around with, you find someone, because there's always someone in the local area where you are who's got their head in just the right kind of space, or certainly a space that you can connect to.
Yeah. Could it be simpler than that? Could it be when you stop making claims, the reason for fear goes away? Could it be? Huh? And when the teacher's ready, the student will be there. Or when the student's ready, the teacher will be there. Vice versa. But the point is, claims, I found out when I stopped making claims, realizing
everything works out in the end.
What evidence do you have? I know anything. I find life's a lot more fun. Just testimony I'm giving. Could that be a claim? I guess it could. It's a fun one, you ask me. But anyway.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I'm a person who definitely strongly believes everything works out in the end. But in that same belief, that sort of keeps me in a rut for a while.
Well, the thing of it is, it sounds like to me, brother, you're looking to try to change the world. The point of it is, the only way the world around you is going to change is when the change happens within, and come to peace with where you're at and enjoy the moment. I think a lot of people are all hyped up over, sure, there's allegedly a lot of misuse of the property out there and chemicals where we believe they shouldn't be or should be. The thing of it is, though, I think the state of mind has more power over any of that than anything else. I mean, people can worry themselves to death.
Oh, completely.
Sooner than the fluoride in the water is going to kill you. I mean, something to consider.
I find
the mind is so strong.
I find my peace in the middle of the biggest shithole and the biggest disaster my life had ever had, and that's where I find my peace. It wasn't easy to sit in that. It wasn't a nice place to be. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't. It was horrible. I couldn't have wished it on my worst enemy. Really couldn't. But that's where I found my peace. So yeah, it's extraordinary. It is very. Well, the weird thing is we've all done it, and we're going to do it many times before we realise that it's unique to each of us. It's completely unique. Although we're all doing it, when you do it, it will be unique to you. No one can tell you what it's going to be like, and no one definitely can't lead you into it. Maybe walk by your side, but definitely can't lead you in. So yeah, that's how I get that. And I agree with Batman as well. It is definitely about that focus on yourself. There is nothing wrong with being selfish. Until you're focused on yourself, you don't actually know what you're focusing on others. You don't know.
Yeah, I'm selfish. I want everybody to come to peace so there's no war and Batman can go fishing. That's pretty selfish, huh?
I'll join you when the war's all ended, Batman. We'll go fishing.
When the war ends, it comes within, brother.
I like fishing.
When you realize there's no war.
And there's nothing worth fighting for.
Except within. I mean, nobody gets out of here alive. We're on a journey in a vessel. These vessels come and go, man. Thing of it is, can we come to peace with all around us? You ask me, that's the secret.
Yeah, we can.
Should we have a chant? I feel like we should all have a chant together now. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight Dark City was brought to you by the Guru Batman.
What?
G-U-I-U, Batman.
Did I ever call you any names?
G-U-R-U. I said G-U-R-U. G-U-R-U, Batman.
If that makes you happy.
I can't help it spells out the word guru. It's not my fault it spells out the word guru. That is text abbreviation G-U-R-U. Guru. That's what it says. Do it in text. You'll get me straight.
I believe the great...
Oh my days.
Oh my days. G-U-R-U. Guru. £250. See the lady at the door.
I believe the great awakening that's going to happen when the veil is lifted. Think about this, boys and girls. I believe that when the veil is lifted, start to realize they've been worshiping illusions like the city, like Canada, like North America, like the United States, like the UK, like Australia, when they realize they're all just what one believes at the moment, like money. When people realize it's all an illusion, the great veil is going to be lifted from them. Think about it.
When the veil lifts, there's not going to be enough food for everybody because no one's going to want to eat the crap.
When the veil's lifted, people are going to realize what do they need food for.
Brilliant.
Dom, were you trying to...
It's living without food, Batman.
I was just simply saying that I was thinking.
There are people who claim to be breatharians and things, who claim to be just living on sunlight, really. Yeah. I haven't tried it myself. I mean, I've tripped on sunlight. That was
living on the moment, brother. If you imagine the body has all its needs, could that be true?
It could be. It's possible.
Why do you have intestines then, man?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. But I'm less interested in food than I used to be.
I don't know. Why do you have an appendix? Why have you got extra vertebrae on the end of your spine?
Okay, yeah, well...
Why have you got a renal system? Why you got liver?
Why you got a pineal gland? I mean, what good is that if you ain't using
guys, are you... This conjecture is going over the edge.
I actually agree. I think it's better to work with where we are now than what may or not may occur. I do know that monks used to be able to survive for months on a small quantity of yak fat. And it's not a joke. It stopped the stomach lining from sticking to one another. And that's why it was used. So, yeah, the human body
can drink candle wax.
The human body can do some extraordinary things. Whether or not that is a system we could apply right now all feed off our energy rather than food. I suppose it's not too far of a leap forward when you consider the human body produces more energy per square inch than the sun. So yeah, I wouldn't know for certain. We've got about 5 minutes. If there's anybody out there who hasn't spoken yet in our Dark City chat room here, then please speak up.
Could I just ask one quick question here?
Yep.
Could it be belief is what does the extraordinary things?
Oh, definitely, man. Belief. You need. You're living a lie. Yeah, belief has to be.
Belief creates the whole mirage, the whole illusion. That's
comes
what
from the word wish for, belef, in Old English, to belef, to wish for. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally agree. Go on, Prajna.
Well, I mean, that's as good an explanation as any, actually, to wish for. Certainly, I believe means I don't know. That's the whole point. But people forget it means I don't know. And then they go to war over a whole lot of I don't knows, a whole lot of beliefs. They'll fight for them. It's all protected in the Constitution and the law and everything like that. Belief is protected, human rights, all that stuff. Of course they want to protect belief, because belief always happens in the mind. It's all the unreality.
It's all one's perception at the moment. Yeah.
So we have perception.
We perceive it to be true because somebody told us they believe it. That sounds like trouble.
We have experience if we pay attention during the experience.
Yeah.
But often when we're paying attention to the illusionary world in the mind instead.
But I want to ask, how can you pay attention unless you own something?
Who is the you that owns something?
I give
3 minutes to go, gents. Anybody else want to throw anything in before Prajna and Batman beat who is who and what is what, and who possessed that before they owned whatever it was they were trying to sell before it was changed possession into... And we brought down another rabbit hole, a rabbit hole I would quite happily go down on what is actually wealth and worth, and how do we measure that. Quite happy to do that, but we've only got 3 minutes.
All I could say is if everybody can learn to enjoy the moment, I mean, it sounds like everybody be happy. Huh?
Well, I'll give you 3 points of it, and perhaps we could cover this again. There's actually 4 points, but the 3 points to my little triangle here are Bitcoins, that's in one corner. Energy and time are in another corner. And God is in the final corner of the 3 points of this trinity. I'll give you them again.
God can't be in a corner because he's supposed to be everywhere. So,
look, man, I'm putting it into a 3-pointed trinity, right? God doesn't get a choice. God goes where I put him. And that's in the corner. Thank you very much indeed. You do whatever you want with your God, Prajna. Mine's standing in the corner, and he's a face-off between time and energy and bitcoins. God, energy and time. Bitcoins, energy and time. Time and energy equals Bitcoin and God. Have a look at it. See if you can get around the scenario.
Hey, could you replace God with choice?
No. Not in this 3-pointed scenario. You were dealing with those 3 points, and you can't change them. And that's why I've come into that 3-pointed scenario. Because
God is old oil and drugs.
God is as big a fraud as anything that people put time and energy into. It's a fraud.
What did God ever do to you?
And I can prove that irrefutably.
What did God ever do to you?
He didn't do anything to me. Neither did bitcoins, neither did time and energy.
Could God equal choice?
You're looking for the argument there, and we've got 1 minute to go, and you missed it again, Batman. But
don't all get into that.
What argument?
Go there, mate. I am not singling out any of the 3 points. I am saying they are all one and the same, depending upon your perception. And yours was to stand in the middle and have an argument with one of them.
What's arguing? I'm just asking you. Would it make more sense to put choice in there instead of God? Because who has the final choice on what you choose?
You give your own three-pointed trinity there. You give your own. I'm not asking you don't want to. It's only a suggestion. All right, pull your underpants back up tight, and we can all move along to the end of the show. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You were listening to Dark City. That's us. We're done. Join us next time, please do. And I'm going to play us out with this.
Hi, it's Rupert. Get your fucking elbows off the table. And my food is absolutely disgusting. But that doesn't stop me from listening to the Dark City. I ate a whole baby! God damn it! Well, as a consolation prize for losing on today's show, you will be given his and her peas. Matching his and her peas. The Dark City, where a weirdo like me can absolutely be himself.